talking with Boze Hadleigh, author of The Lavender Screen, The Gay and Lesbian Films, Their Stars, Makers, Characters, and Critics. It's published by Citadel Press. Welcome, Boze.
Thank you, Connie.
We have talked about Hispanic Hollywood.
Yes.
We have talked about My Elders.
Right.
And now we come to The Lavender Screen. And it is a different era and time, and people are far more open about looking at what has been, and now the present, and the future.
True, true. Well, I think that's why the book has also crossed over to a mainstream readership. The timing is so good. The Lavender Screen focuses on famous films as opposed to only cult films, with very familiar actors and actresses in the roles. Beginning
with 1931 with Machen in uniform.
Right, right. The first Hollywood movie is 1959, but we do start in Europe, where there were gay-themed films starting in the 19-teens. And then when the Nazis came in World War II, and that put a stop to all of that. And then there was the Hollywood Code, which ran from 1934 to about the early 60s.
And then, of course, the pictures with Dietrich and with Garbo,
right.
in various films. And I will hold up to show Dietrich in her male dress, as well as Garbo in Queen Christina.
Right, Garbo and Queen Christina, Dietrich in Morocco. And these were European actresses who had an androgynous or bisexual appeal, and as we now know about their private lives, were not strictly heterosexual.
Yeah.
And the book tries to look at both gays on the screen, but also to some degree behind the scenes. Behind the scenes,
Boze. We know, of course, Lillian Hellman, her book, the play and movie, The Children's Hour, that became...
well, these three in the 30s, when it couldn't be about lesbianism, and then when William Wyler remade it in 1962, it was The Children's Hour, with Audrey Hepburn and Shirley MacLaine.
Let's talk about directors, though. How did a director such as George Cukor affect the work he did? What made it different from, say, a heterosexual directing the same film?
Well, you know, there wasn't much difference in those days in their work. Someone like George Cukor, who was gay in real life, could not really direct a gay-themed film first, because there were none until about the 60s. And very often, as with the actors, like a Rock Hudson, would not play a gay role because it would reveal what he was in real life. So it was more typical, when you did have gay-themed or lesbian-themed movies, to have them directed by heterosexual males.
And would they give, if you look at those films today, do they treat it with respect, or do they have a funny way?
In the 60s, it was pretty much all villains and victims, as in The Children's Hour, where Shirley MacLaine declares her love for Audrey Hepburn and then hangs herself.
Rod Steiger in The Sergeant.
In The Sergeant. Marlon Brando, well, he survived in Reflections in a Golden Eye, also directed by John Huston. That didn't really change till the 70s, when you did get more gay directors, writers, and stars coming in, and you would have films like Morris, Longtime Companion, also Desert Hearts, the first Hollywood movie about lesbians directed by a woman.
What about Montgomery Clift in Suddenly Last Summer?
Right. Well, he played heterosexual, if you recall. He was Dr. Kukrowitz.
Yeah.
And he wasn't exactly romantically teamed with Elizabeth Taylor, but at the end there was the intimation of that possibility. The gay character was Sebastian.
Yes.
Who was never depicted in toto. You saw his hand, you saw him from behind, and he was the villain of the play, and in a way the central character. But it was the first Hollywood movie that had a major gay character. It was a big hit, and so it enabled more of the same.
Making Love is a very interesting film to watch and to see how that position has developed into a more mature point of view.
Right.
That's the doctor, and
Right, the doctor, played by Michael Ontkean, who is married to Kate Jackson, and he has repressed his homosexuality. Then he meets Harry Hamlin, a novelist, and that brings it out, and then in the end he has to leave Kate Jackson so that he's true to himself, and also so he's no longer using her as a front. It was a 1982 film. It did better than its reputation suggests, and it was underrated at the time. It was made for mainstream audiences, the sort of film that a gay viewer could take heterosexual relatives and friends to see, and for many of them it was very enlightening.
Boze, talk too about the effect of AIDS on films today, and how in a sense, gays are being portrayed as a result of that?
Well, the irony is that it's not until 1993, the very tail end, that there is a studio film about AIDS, Philadelphia,
yeah.
which will probably secure an Oscar nomination, at least, for Tom Hanks. The first film to break through about AIDS was Longtime Companion, 1990. There were some very good AIDS films before then, but no one would touch them for distribution. And so even though they were high quality, they had very limited viewerships. Hollywood has, to some degree, avoided portraying gay men without mentioning AIDS. It's sort of a vicious circle, and therefore you have more freedom when they do portray lesbians or bisexual women.
Getting to the sort of the humor, back to a little humor with Lacage, O'Fall, and Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about how they use that whole concept.
Well, you know, originally, before you had gay characters in film, you had comedy actors like Franklin Pangborn and Edward Everett Horton.
Mm-hmm.
And this is in that tradition, La Cage aux Folles, a French-Italian film, very funny, not politically correct. On the other hand, it does show what very few movies ever do depict from real life, gay couples who have been together for a long, long time, and who are loyal to each other and who remain together at the end.
Yeah.
And it spawned 2 sequels.
I was just going to ask, how did it change in the sequels?
It didn't really change much. It had the same drawback of any sequel. It's the same premise. It's just to make money, basically. No one liked the sequels as well as the original.
Yeah. Lesbians, you thought, that's an interesting one, too, that you love to or hate.
Right.
And of course you've got Madonna there.
Madonna, because in real life she came out as bisexual, and it is much more acceptable for a star who is female to admit to bisexuality. It's still not okay in the U.S. for a man. In England you have openly gay Sir John Gielgud, Sir Dirk Bogarde, Sir Ian McKellen. That time will come in Hollywood, I guess.
Tony Richardson, who unfortunately died of AIDS.
Of AIDS, yes.
But spawned children.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he was bisexual. He had 3 daughters, 2 by Vanessa Redgrave and then another. Well, this is the thing. Everyone forgets that not everyone is, it's not 100% black and white. There's also bisexuality. And in Hollywood, that is not at all uncommon.
The picture I'm holding up. By the way, do any of them who go out of the closet come back in? Or
in music, a few have, like David Bowie. He came out, then he went back in.
Yeah.
Some come part of the way out, like Elton John is bisexual. Then he married, then he divorced. Now he's out as being openly gay.
Yeah. La Cage aux Folles, wonderful pictures that are included in this book, and I'm glad you brought me these stills.
Well, one thing about most of the movies in the Lavender Screen are available on video, so people can enjoy them at home.
And, of course, here is
Mass
Jack
Appeal, Jack Lemmon and Zeljko Ivanik. This was very relevant to today about bisexuality in the Catholic Church. A bisexual seminarian, and he goes for advice to Jack Lemmon as a heterosexual priest.
And the women. We come to
Personal Best with Mariel Hemingway and Patrice Donnelly.
And I think this came out even before Martina Navratilova said she was gay.
Yes.
Yeah.
In 1982, you had these 5 major gay films like Making Love and Victor Victoria, and they did moderately well.
Wonderful story about Michael Caine in the book about how he couldn't play a part because he just wouldn't come out naked.
Oh, yes.
In Women in Love.
Exactly.
And then he does, of course, these 2 excellent films.
Oh, yeah, with Christopher Reeve in Death Trap, as it's later revealed in the plot as gay lovers. I think by now everyone's seen that film, so we can say it. Yeah.
And the other one that he did, too, with Laurence Olivier.
Well, he did Sleuth, where there were intimations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there more honesty today, do you feel, Boze?
There is more honesty. It's just that gay-themed films are made less often, certainly by the studios. When they are made, it's usually by Merchant Ivory, for instance, Morris, or Desert Hearts. But if Philadelphia does well, another one that's coming up is Even Cowgirls Get the Blues, which has Uma Thurman, who's on the cover of the Lavender Screen, and that is directed by openly gay Gus Van Sant.
You know, it's interesting. I've just talked with Lillian Chauvin on her book on Hollywood scams.
Yes.
Do young men get attacked for casting couches today as much as young women used to?
You know, I think in general it's still very sexist. Males are treated with a little more respect than females, which is not to say a lot anyway. The casting couch has always been there, and basically it's men in charge of Hollywood, so whether the men are gay or straight, if they are not very conscientious, they will go after the female or male they desire.
The attacker and the attackee. Will you autograph my
Certainly,
book, Boze? And if you would like a copy of our publication, Good Books, send me a stamped, self-addressed envelope to Good Books, P.O. Box 69, 1640, Los Angeles, California, 90069. Look for our column in all the California Press Bureau newspapers. We'll tell you about some other books we've liked recently. Meanwhile, support your local library. It is our finest institution in America. If you are in Los Angeles, we have a brand new, magnificent library that is really a focal point for any tour of Los Angeles. And support RIF. Reading is fundamental. It helps children learn to collect books. And if children learn to collect books, they are readers, and we will have, hopefully, a more civilized society. And we'll see you next time. Boze, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Connie.